Hello, everybody. I'm Marshana Mayo from the Broad Street Church of Christ, coming to you with another Inspirational Saturday as I encourage you and myself with the word from the Lord. Now, I touched on this in a previous lesson titled Practice the Pause, where I talked about praying over decisions before acting upon them while waiting for an answer from God. But today I want to dig a little deeper. Now, in Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 and 8, it reads, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be open." Now, these verses are an invitation to interact with our Father who loves to hear the prayers of his people. This text describes how we ought to bring our requests to God and his willingness to answer those who sincerely seek him. Now in verse 8, ask, spelled A-S-K, means a single request. And seek refers to something more persistent. And knock implies a deeper persistence. Now in verse 8, it says, "For everyone who asks," spelled A-S-K-S, meaning keep asking, which is a constant action. He also says, "He who seeks," spelled S-E-E-K-S, meaning keep seeking. And then he says, "To him who knocks," spelled K-N-O-C-K-S, meaning keep knocking. Jesus is saying we ought to continue to ask him, continue to seek him, and continue knocking, all while staying productive and obedient to his word. This is where patience comes into play. Patiently waiting on God's response while still adhering to his word. And why does God require us to knock? Jesus commands us to bring our requests, to look for answers, and to ask to be led into his presence. Knocking is a polite way of saying, "Are you free? Can I come in? I'm here and waiting for you to answer." Although God knows we are there, he wants us to acknowledge the fact that we are to make our presence known to him, and he has our undivided attention. When we knock, the proper door would be open. For example, if a person needs something from someone behind the door, the most natural thing to do is knock. And keep knocking until the door is open and the desire is met. In the same way, a believer should pray in faith for God's provision and be persistent in prayer. Jesus commands us to continually ask, seek, and knock with confidence that we will receive and find. Jesus also commands us to ask, seek, and knock with the promise that each action will be rewarded. He makes it clear, though, that he is talking about prayer, asking from the Father, seeking from the Father, symbolically knocking on the Father's door. It's clear because our only way of communicating with the Father is through prayer. There's no other way. And he answers us with yes, no, or not yet, in his way and on his time. Now, of course, what we want is not always what we need. If we want what is not in God's will, then we will not receive it. God knows what is good for us, and he is faithful and loving to say no to selfish and foolish prayers, no matter how much we want what we're asking for. Now, if we receive something that we want that is not God approved, then that request did not come from God. Remember, the devil hears our prayers too. God will not bless us with something that will disrupt our relationship with him. Then Jesus double downs on the promise by saying, "Anyone who asks of God receives an answer. Everyone who seeks him finds. The door is open to everyone who knocks." By including everyone, Jesus shows that God's responsiveness to prayer is not based on the goodness of the one who prays, but on the goodness of God. We all know that among everyone, some are unworthy. God knows that among everyone is unworthy. Jesus shows that his Father does not only respond to the prayers of the super religious, like the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 5, verse 20. He is ready to respond to the sincere asking, seeking, and knocking of each of his people. There's enough evidence of God in each of our lives that we should be seeking him. Those who want God will react to that evidence by searching for him, and they will find him. The Father is generous and eager to give good things to his children when they ask. He commands his followers to enter the gate, the narrow gate, and walk the hard road of life. False prophets can be recognized by their fruit, meaning their actions and choices. At the same time, good deeds are not absolute proof that someone has true faith. To live by Jesus' teaching is like building the house of our life on a solid foundation instead of shifting sand, being steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. It's good to pray and seek God, but if one does not also act in ways that are pleasing to God, then the prayer is useless. The more time we spend in communion with God, the more we will know what to ask for in accordance to God's will. Prayer shows a dependence on God for needs that can be met no other way. God is always pleased with such displays of faith. It is only faith in what God can do and what Christ has done that brings about persistent prayer. Our Heavenly Father has taught us to ask. He has promised to fulfill our needs. He tells us that we must act by asking, by seeking, by knocking on the door. We must also ask for his forgiveness for any sins we have committed. Seek his mercy and knock on the door so that our faith and trust in him will open that door and that we might go in. God is faithful and he has given us the life lessons to glorify him. Ask God for what you need. Seek his answers and be ready to enter through the door to the next phase in life that God has prepared for you. God values persistence and passion in prayer because they show that we share in his heart. They show that we share his heart. It shows that we care about the things that he cares about. Persistent prayer gives glory to him, expresses dependence upon him, and aligns our heart more with his. God hears our prayers and is working in ways we cannot see. He will do what is best for his children. Prayer often positions us to receive God's blessings, and prayer changes our hearts more than it changes God's. So pray, go to God, then go again and again and again. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. There will be times God will say no or wait, but that is because he knows what is best for us. So go to God and see what he has for you. I'm Marshana Mayo from the Broad Street Church of Christ, and I thank you for tuning in to another Inspirational Saturday. Be blessed, be a blessing, and remember, God is able. I love you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.